there. Welcome back to Heal Yourself Naturally, brought to you by IPAC. My name is Nicole Dromi. I am your host of these podcasts, and I'm joined by the wonderful Sara and Hava. Many of you who are just joining us now do not know how lucky we are to have these women with us. They have combined over almost 50 years of knowledge and experience in natural healing and natural medicine. And we are so glad to have you both here. For anybody who wants to find out more information about them, you can visit their website. And after this podcast, you'll see all that information. If not, then you can visit sarasherbs.com or havawellness.com. I think we should jump straight to it today. We're talking about detoxification. And our class title is Detoxification Basics with Herbs and Food. Let's get straight to it. The body needs help detoxifying stuff because sometimes we're not so good to our bodies. We don't treat it the way we should. We don't eat the way we should. And there's so many other factors. But I would love to hear from you, Sara, what you would give our viewers give us some insight on how you guide your clients in detoxification.
Well, first I tend to suggest people do it in the springtime because the springtime is a really nice time of renewal and new growth and new ideas. And it's just a lovely time to start something new. And so I do like a spring detox plan here at the shop. And it's essentially soup to nuts detoxification. So if you're gonna really detox your body, the reality is you need to drop fat cells. And otherwise, you're kind of, using herbs and food to open up detox pathways, and it's all really good. But if you really want to get down and dirty with it, you are going to stick to a pretty, strict diet, and using these herbs in the kit that I've mentioned. And I can kind of go into a little bit of detail about what that entails. The first and foremost thing that I would suggest for people is to make sure your pipes are clean. So we had the digestive talk last time, and if your digestive system is all stopped up, that means if you're constipated, you're not digesting things well, the likelihood of you reabsorbing toxins as your body is letting go of some of these toxins is pretty high. So you really want, so what I actually do is do a gut cleanse first. And
Right.
I do encapsulation, so I'd start with that. And then I kind of start with the liver. So I give the liver what it needs, which is minerals and supporting that whole process of the liver, filtering the blood. Sometimes I supplement with things like NAC or grapeseed extract, which increases glutathione, and that's going to help the body release more toxins. And then we're working on the kidneys and we're opening up the kidneys. And then I have a cellular portion of it, which then we're starting to open up the cells to release heavy metals or whatever else they're holding on to. And that's kind of the stair step approach. So I start with gut, liver, kidney, and cellular. I use several combinations of herbs, but I suppose to answer your question very poignantly would be make sure the gut is open and the pipes are clean, or it's all for naught, honestly.
Right. That's why a lot of you guys will notice, our viewers, that the discussions we've had them in a certain order for a reason. So first we spoke about circulation, then we talked about aiding the bowel movements and gut, and then now we're into detoxification because we want people to understand that that is a process in which we see the most successful healing beginning, right? So the body starts to heal itself once you follow these steps, right? Now I know that in the one of the more important organs that needs a little bit more help sometimes is the liver. So I'd love to hear from you, Hava, on what you do in order to guide people on aiding the liver and doing its job, and then also your process of detoxification.
Right. So my so yeah, about the liver. Well, yes, we usually say when the liver is not healthy, we're not healthy. Liver is one of the most important organs because it's the one that really helping to get rid of the garbage out of the system. The beauty of liver that it can regrow. If you cut the piece, it can regrow. That's the beauty of liver. So that's the liver is one of the most precious organs. Obviously, there is many other precious, or each organ is precious, but the liver is working very hard, specifically in our times, in times that we are basically come in contact with almost everything that we touch. It's toxic, right? We come in contact with the food that might be have some pesticides and some other heavy metals. Then we go to the doctors and been injected with other things that are might be horrible. Most people are dependent on medications that really it's not absorbing properly, causing more damage to the liver. And then also can come up with our daily life, which is our environment. We live in a very stressful environment. It really affects our liver. Our liver is very like really suffering, and it is important to give some love to the liver. What I usually love to say is it's not like whenever we say detox, I think that even me, I feel like I'm a little bit scared. So I like to say, let's give a love to the organs, because when we give love, then we look at the organs different and not like, oh, again, we have to do the detox and like pain in the ass. Like, who wants to do this? Nobody, nobody really wants to do this. It's so hard. So that's why if we transfer the idea, it's not a detox, but it's a love, it's a care, then we might look at the organ different. So what I like to do is one of the, obviously we're going to speak about the herbs, but my favorite things to do is sometimes to use the charcoal. Something on a daily basis can really help us to remove toxins out of the body, specifically if you live in a very toxic environment, as I said before, right? So I love to use charcoal very much as a part of detoxing, as well as I love to use clay. And I also love to use juices, which really helps us. And something very important, as Sarah mentioned, is bowels and the kidneys, and they're all so connected. But the issue is that we never understand that in time, when the life is passing, we're all the time thinking about something put in the mouth. Sometimes we should not put anything in the mouth and let just body be. And that's like intermediate fasting, that something new come up. It's not something new. It's just something that I think maybe our time is put, I think, kind of bringing us to this corner to let the people know this, not all the time putting stuff in your mouth, but sometimes just let it stop. Don't eat. Maybe it's good to just let your body be without I would say working nonstop. The body is self-healing machine, but if we all the time eat and the processed food and this and that and all the time, I usually suggest like the same as we want environmental health, we want to help our liver, we should go walk in the nature. The same thing, stop eating, just stop eating, drink some juice and stop putting in more food, and you'll see how regenerate will how your body will regenerate and how beautifully your liver will thank you further. And yes, the other things, I don't know if you want to cover
What kind of juices would you both you ladies, Sarah, what kind of juices would you suggest that are good in overall detoxification or nurturing? Like Kava said, a little bit of TLC to the organs goes a long way. So what kind of juices or plants would you use in order to aid that?
Sure. So I agree with Hava. I think that sometimes the best approach to detox is just to stop eating and have a water fast. But the juices, if you were to do a juice fast, my favorite is beets. So I would be using a fermented beet. It's a kvass.
Fermented.
Yeah, the beet kvass. So what that's going to do is help thin the bile and move the bile out of the body, and that bile in and of itself is it detoxes your body because it'll flush toxins out of your liver. That's how your liver gets rid of fat soluble toxins. So I'd be doing that, and I'd be doing lemon and any kind of citrus and
Uh-huh.
carrot.
Carrot.
Carrot
Yeah.
carrot juice is awesome for many different reasons. It's very nutrient dense, And so I'd be using mostly vegetables, not a lot of fruits. Uh, the citruses are great. They're very supportive to the digestive system and the kidneys and the liver. Of course, the sour is going to move things out of the liver. Um, and then, so carrot, let's see, what was the other one I was going to say? If I were to do like some kind of fruit besides the citrus, I'd probably do blueberry. Um, I love blueberries because they are the superfruit of the Northeast. You know, you don't have to go to the rainforest to find a superfruit. You have, I mean, if you live, I live in the Northeast, so wild blueberries are just, they grow everywhere, and you just have to eat them. It's really
Yeah.
simple. Freezing them is
Yeah.
best, but you could be doing, you know, really simple juices, citrus, blueberry, and I love carrot, cucumber, pear, but my favorite would be the beets for sure, because that's really going to help the liver do its job, and it's going to support the digestive system, the gut microbiome, which we
And
know.
how long would you suggest like a beet cleanse or a beet or sorry, a juice cleanse rather, or a juice fast like you
You
mentioned?
know, I am not a fanatic about anything, and I
Yeah,
find that, you know, people who do these fasts for, you know, the 42-day fast or whatever, it's very excessive because
very aggressive as well.
it's aggressive, it's excessive, and detoxification like that depletes you.
Yeah,
So you don't want to go over too far. So I would even go so far as to say a 24-hour cleanse is nice. Probably
right,
3 to 4 days would be max, is what I would do. It really depends on the health of the person and
right.
what's going on. I don't always recommend detox for someone who is in ill health because
Yeah.
they need nutrients. So we're shifting diet stuff to support detox. So getting
Right.
rid of
And
sugar.
that goes into what we've all mentioned before is we have to listen to our bodies. So if someone suggests that you go, like a friend has done a cleanse or whatnot, and they suggest you start it as well, but after day one, you're not feeling so well, your body's telling you something. It's not saying continue, it's saying, okay, give me a second, let me adjust, relax. And then, like Kava mentioned, don't put anything else in your mouth. Just drink some water, maybe have some, take a little bit of sea salt for an added mineral to balance everything out, and then just see what happens with your body.
Right. And I
It'll
want
tell
to
you so many things.
And I want to add too is, you know, autophagy is the really what we want to reach. And autophagy is basically like your body is kind of in starvation mode. So it
Right,
releases a bunch of things from the cells, things meaning nutrients and even toxins, obviously metabolic waste. So getting into autophagy is an important piece. And that depends on the person. So that's almost like getting into ketosis to a degree, you know, not the same
right,
thing, but it's kind of analogous to that. So it takes a little bit of time. But if you really want to be aggressive with your detox, you're going to be in starvation mode, because then you're going to release all that fat, you're going to burn fat, you're going to release all that fat that's holding on to the toxins.
right. Kava, what do you have to say about different juices? I'd love to hear what are your favorites to detox.
Right. Obviously the carrot juice is my favorite one, and I love to use organic carrot juice and from farmers market. It's absolutely incredible. I do feel that people underestimate the power of juices, and they kind of feel, oh, it's too sweet, or it's not that sweet. So I really want to people understand that, and not to be afraid of trying. And a very important point I would like to mention is whenever you drink your juice, you have to chew your drink. So that way the minerals, it will be reabsorbed with your enzymes and with saliva, and it will be mixed in correct way, because the people in most time they're just chugging down, and when you do that, that you usually bypassing all the whole important digestion process that are happening in the body. So you need to know basics how to drink the juice in the correct way. So obviously you want to get a good juicer, and if you don't have any good like juicer, just start with whatever you have, even $100 from the store. But everyone who's coming to natural healing need to understand, if you don't have a juicer, don't start because you're just wasting your time. Juicing is very important. It's part of healing. So it's something that it should be in your home. Next thing you want to do whenever you prepare a produce, and a carrot juice, let's say in this case, you want to make sure that produce is fresh. Many people think that it's okay, we just juice it, so let's just juice whatever rotten fruit we have, or apples or beets. So that's not a good idea. You want to make sure that will be absolutely nourishing fruits, because that was a blood infusion. It goes straight into it goes straight into your blood, so it's very important. Next thing I want to stress about, if you have a cold press juicer, then the juices can stay fresh up to 3 days. But if you just have like a cheap juicer, you have to drink it right after. Otherwise, you're just losing, because oxidation process really killing all the good stuff. So it's very important to know all those basics before you're jumping into the juices. Now, next thing, when you drink, you should start with 1 or 2 cups. Don't do straight and like have a picnic, because you need to train your body. Everything is about listening and training. So what you have to do is start slowly with 1 cup, 2 cups a day, and then progress more and more if you want to, and then eliminate the food and start adding more juices. That's another thing. Next thing I really want to stress, I think it's one of the most important things people don't understand. There's so much information out there. Everybody's jumping into the detox. Oh, I'm on a detox. Yeah, that's very good. But I've seen cases of people who are on the detox and they don't poop. So what you do, actually, you're harming yourself. In that case, it's better you should not do the detox. You should just continue eating what you're eating, because you don't understand what means detox. Detox meaning cleaning, as Sara mentioned in the beginning, everything. All the pipes must move, because if you are not eating and you're drinking, let's say, the juice, and I'm on a fancy juice cleanse, and then you're not pooping for 3 days, what happens? All the garbage reabsorbs again. So with your juice, you're now getting extra toxins that recirculate back into your system, causing you more harm. And that's the most stupid thing that people doing in this world. And I really want to everyone understand the basics. If your pipes are blocked, you do not do detox, because detox needs to be when all the plumbing system is open. And obviously not only the bowels, but also skin, etc., etc. But you need to understand that, because I've seen cases, people go on 3-day cleanse juices, and then they call me when their stomach is about to just blow up. Because there's so much toxicity of, let's say, of 15 years. The garbage of 15 years wants to come out, and they all want to come out from a very narrow hole. I'm sorry, but you need to really understand that.
Watermelon through a garden hose.
Yeah, I mean, I usually say it's like you have a small door and everybody wants to leave. How's that? So that creates a blockage.
Right.
So we need to understand, you do it slowly, and if needed, do an enema. There is no harm by trying an enema, but I'm not saying that it should be like part of your daily life, but to help you. So remember, detox, you have to, as Sara mentioned, keep all channels open. Now, the other thing about the beets, I love absolutely beets. I would suggest, well, Sara mentioned kvass. She mentions beets that are fermented, which means they been through some process which is easier on digestion. But if you will decide to go, oh, I'm a beet lady, and you're going to drink the beet juice, you're going to end up shitting your pants right away, because the beets are so strong, and they will cause you to like strong detoxification. So again, use your common sense. And if you're not using fermented beets, like Sara mentioned, what you have to do is you have to start with let's say 1/4 cup you can add into the carrot juice. Let's say 1 cup of carrot juice and 1/4 cup of beets. Now you slowly start gradually teaching your body how to detoxify correctly. Okay, so that's a very important thing that I really want to mention. And yes, about listening to the body is absolutely important, because what happens is that we live in a society, or either people eat too much garbage, they eat too much toxic food and live in a toxic society, or either they don't eat nothing. And the problem is here that, as Sarah mentioned, there becomes imbalance. So if you're not eating any sort of a food, and you're just starving yourself, like many mothers do, like, right, we hear this all the time. Oh, I'm so busy, I just grabbed like a half sandwich, and I was on my way rushing to pick up my boys from the basketball game, whatever. So you end up not eating the whole entire day, and then you come to the night where you're absolutely crushed. If you ask this woman, can you please do a detox? You're absolutely killing this woman, because she needs food to survive, and she's not eating. See?
Right.
And we need to do an opposite. And I really want to people understand, if you're that kind woman, if you're exhausted man who is a businessman who's flying, doing all, showing all the blah blah blah, and you're not doing what, then you should do it gradually. And many things that we see outside in this modern society, the people who are pushing detoxes and stuff like that, most people, they don't have children, they live in somewhere in Hawaii, they enjoy their beautiful swimming in the cold river, or doing plunges in a beautiful environment. I'm sorry, we're dealing with a daily life. The mothers wake up in the morning, they're driving their kids back and forth, they are so busy they barely remember to poop and pee. And if we ask them to do detox, that's not good. So really, I want to see, don't just fall as a trap because there's someone with a good muscles, or someone as a huge healer will come and tell you, oh, I'm doing 40, like I know healers who do this whole months detox. They start
Right.
with juices, they start, no, with food, then
So
they
it
go
can
the
be
juices.
daunting at the end of the day. It can be more daunting on your body if you're not doing it
Exactly.
gradually.
So
If you're
that's the
not,
whole
if
idea.
your
Right.
pipes are not open, if your body's not properly nourished. So we can all agree that nutrition obviously is very important, and what you're feeding your body is very important. We know that this isn't obvious for us, but most people don't understand that to be an obvious. And even if you're someone that doesn't have the ability or the comfort to afford certain things, you should at least try to introduce it into your life, let's say once a week, where you're buying fruits and vegetables for one meal at least for you and your family, or for yourself alone, to have a balanced and proper meal that is not full of toxins, that is not heavily processed. And time if you do it gradually and make it somewhat of a mission to have at least this one meal once a week, or if you can afford more, then you'll see the difference in your body, and then you can start introducing those detoxification methods.
Yeah. First to learn
Let's
how.
talk about things
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
not so harsh on the body that can be done, or some herbal remedies that, or herbs in on their own, not combined remedies or combined herbs together. Some herbs that are, aiding the body's detoxification process, aiding the, blood toxicity, or on a cellular level. What are some things, Sarah, that you would suggest, some herbs that you would suggest that we should have in our household, so that if we do decide to take on a detoxification, or do decide to take this on ourselves, what should we have at home and ready to go?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. And I just want to also comment that a lot of the detox stuff out there and the messaging is pretty kitschy for people. It's marketing. It's almost like a
It's a fashion.
it's a fashion, it's a fad, it's
Yeah.
like putting solar panels in the front lawn, like look at me, I'm sustainable. Like
Right.
it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
I don't live my life that way. I don't like
Right.
any of that. So it can be really simple. And I also find the people who need to detox don't, and the ones that don't need to detox do.
Right.
So, you know, so it is simple. So my favorite herb is burdock root.
Yeah.
And burdock root is, it can kind of hit almost all. I mean, it doesn't hit all organs and detox pathways, but it hits the kidneys and the liver. And burdock root is really high in minerals, and it's going to give your liver what it needs to detoxify the blood. But also we really have to consider the gut health, the microbiome, because
Yeah.
when your liver detoxifies and it can't handle it, sometimes it will, not sometimes, but many times it will flag. It uses a flagging system. Don't ask me what that is. It's not literal flags, but it will kind of mark toxins to get rid of later because it's too busy. But
Right.
those little buggers in the gut can take off those little tags. So we have to be mindful of having a healthy gut when we're talking about detoxification. So
Right.
just want to make that clear too. We always go back to gut, right? Gut, liver.
Always.
But
It's our
burdock,
second brain for a reason.
that's right. And so burdock root is cheap. It's really easy to find. Dandelion root is cheap. It's really easy to find. Nettle leaf. So burdock and dandelion mostly for the liver. Nettle and dandelion leaf mostly for the kidney. I love calendula for the lymphatics, and it also has a nice affinity for the liver and the immune system, coincidentally. And mullein leaf for the lung. And all those herbs together in one tea blend, you could drink 1 cup a day into perpetuity. It will never harm you, and you'll be supporting your body. And I always say too, it's like we always want to talk about food. Food is very important. A diet is not what you go on, a diet is what you eat. And
Right.
stop going on diets. Just eat food. Stay away from the
Real food.
real
Real
food.
food. Real food.
Crap.
Yeah.
Don't eat a lot of fried. Don't eat fried food. You know, eat whole foods. And I know a lot of
Yeah.
people don't have time to prepare, but I can tell you right now, it takes you an hour to prepare a good meal. I'm done with
Right.
people saying they don't have time to eat well because it's a cop out, it's bologna and cheese. That's it.
Right.
It takes an hour. Watch Rachel Ray. She cooks 45 minutes. She's got
I
dinner
know. I love
on.
her.
I know. It's like,
Side note, my whole entire life, I think Food Network was on my
I love it.
TV at all times.
Yes.
And it definitely grew my affinity and love for food, as well as my family's background. They're all chefs, but they didn't eat well. And when I started raising my family, or when I moved out of the house and I moved in with my husband right away, when we were young, the one thing I noticed that when I started cooking for myself and not depending on like my, the food in my house or going out and eating, and really took it into my own hands, even though I wasn't the greatest in the beginning, it took time, and now I can cook up a storm. But not only that, my body felt so
Oh yeah.
good. It felt so
Yes.
different when I stopped purchasing certain salts and stopped using so much oil and learning how to properly cook on a stainless steel pan. It takes time to learn. And that's why I was trying to say that if you only do it once a week, let's say,
Yeah.
and you put in that effort, then you'll want to do it more. Your body will crave it. And it's also, another topic of discussion is where you purchase your food from. If you have the ability to even go to a farm that's nearby and purchase things directly from the farm, or go to the farmer's market and make friends with these local farms that are growing things that are organic, then it will highly benefit you. Not only that, you'll taste the difference.
Definitely. I
You
just
will
had this conversation.
absolutely, yeah, it tastes like real food. We have long forgotten what real food tastes like unless you start to prepare it yourself, get it from a reliable source, and eat properly. And then you don't crave all that garbage. You stop craving all the junk. You don't want any of it. Why? Because your body feels nourished and your body knows what it needs. And then you start listening to it more. And that's also something that you both mentioned, is that, you know, a diet, like you said, a diet is not something you do. A diet is not something
Diet
you
is not
go
something
on.
go on, right?
Yeah, it's something that you do and live by.
Every day.
And also that people that need to detox don't detox, and people that don't need a detox, and people who are eating well and treating their body with the respect that it deserves don't
You
need to
don't need to
detox.
detox.
because their body does it. And I get asked a lot of times, how do you detox your family? Or what do you guys do? What are you doing to detox? I'm like, nothing. I'm just eating well. I'm just
Yeah.
eating well. I'm buying my food from a reliable source. I don't buy things processed. My kids are lucky if they get takeout, and that's maybe once a week because I do cook. And let me just tell you, no matter how busy you are, it's not that hard to prepare at least one good meal for your family a day, at least.
Yeah, and I just want to add in there too, there's some kids who have that heavy metal stuff going on with
Right.
autism. And so if I have two small children, and my first child was the most vaccinated, and I tend to think that she probably, would have been that autistic kid if I fed her what people feed their kids in the
Absolutely.
modern American diet. I always fed my kids really well. I think that really helped keep those detox pathways open. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't entertain a heavy metal detox with her, because that stuff can get stored in your brain. So that's a caveat to what we're kind of
Right.
talking about too. I mean, there's certainly some heavy metals in certain brains of children that we need to address. This is not that conversation. I just want to
No.
mention.
But we just need to put it in there, put it out in the air for our viewers to understand that it's obviously everything that we do and put in us, into ourselves and our children and then around us. And sometimes you end up being shaken, like, how did I not know this? But it's never too late, right? The damage may be done in some cases, but that doesn't mean it can't be treated, and it can't you can't reverse some of those side effects. And we'll have plenty of discussions about that.
Yeah.
Kava, let's hear about your preferred herbs for detoxification and aiding the body. I love the ones that Sara used. I'm sure some of yours align with what she said, but I'd love to hear from you.
Right. So if we speak about the liver, obviously, so the milk thistle is the one that I like very much, because it really helps to kind of coat the liver and helps to protect the liver. And I think this is a wonderful herb to have on hand. And also, I've heard when there is something happening and you're not sure, just drink a milk thistle tea, and it will kind of clear up the things out. So I also would like to add on top of all of you, what you mentioned is the body is a self-healing machine. And as the way we said, the liver can regenerate itself, the body regenerates itself as well. So that's why it's so important to really, I would say, give a break. So whenever we say choose wisely the food that you eat, is because as a body is a self-healing machine, it will kind of will tell you the things that are not good for it. So as Nicole, you said before, so if you buy, if you're in a restaurant or you cook your own food, the body will really show you the difference, right? So that's the
Right.
beauty of it. The beauty of it is that the body is self-healing machine, but if we not gonna not let this machine to do what is designed to do, then we are in trouble. So, and
Right.
also, so if I will drink milk thistle and I'll drink all these delicious herbal teas, but I still continue harming myself, then there is a problem with it. So I really want you to always think, and the food is very important. And we get to the milk thistle, we get to the bardock root, we get there. But first, you need to understand that the main source of of the tools that your bodies need is a proper food. Without food, you will not be alive. So, and it's very important to put the seed while the babies and children and you are still young, and learn the skills of cooking, because this is, and we are the women, we are the one who need to be part of this. We actually the innate healers, and this, because we are in the kitchen, we combine materials together. And I've seen so many people who are unfortunately not educated enough in a way that I'm like, it's sad to see that you have a child who's having a fever, let's say, and the mom calls me, oh, my child is throwing, what should I give? It's not to give, it's just, what did you do? And then she'll, no, I felt bad, so I gave him a cupcake which has a cut, then I gave him a lollipop. What did you do right now? The self-healing machine tells you, hey, stop. And then we not listening, what we think, what we should put, stop putting, don't expect, first stop doing more
Right.
harm, and then when you're gonna give some real fruits, real, and then will come herbs, then you will see a whole entire beautiful picture. So I really want to
Right.
people understand, because we live in a society where people think hop 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 hop, like Pokemon, give me this
Yeah, it's very
medicine, that.
counterintuitive if you're trying to get stuff out, but you're putting stuff that's bad that's in.
Because in
And
reality we don't need
right,
that much food, and
That's right.
and that's one thing.
right.
If you cook a good meal, you just need the one good meal, and in the morning you need another meal, so you basically can run between two good meals. The rest could be fruits and vegetables. What how much it takes to
Which
cut a
isn't a meal in
watermelon.
itself, honestly, if it's rightfully sourced, like I mentioned, even just
Right,
eating, sometimes my favorite meal, I don't even care what time of day it is a plate full of vegetables, a couple of my favorite nuts, and I'm the happiest girl alive. Or some dried fruits, and I could literally eat that every single day, and it's something my body. I put some nice sea salt on top, my
right.
good steamed distilled water, and I'm the happiest and I
So
feel
we always,
full. I'm so full, you
right,
know?
exactly. So we all the time think, oh, we need to prepare. You just put like 4 or 5 peaches and eat them. Let's see if you're gonna be hungry for another 3 or 4
Right.
hours. You might not be. Why? Because 3 4. But
And
can
that's
I
also
eat?
something people have to understand is we have seasons for a reason,
Right.
right? So peaches are really good right now. They're in season, but it's also there's a reason why they're in season at different times of the year. You know, the body is so magnificently designed, and so is our planet Earth. And we have different seasons, and different things come up on different seasons, and that's what we should eat. We
And
shouldn't
we've
Right.
look
evolved,
for,
I just want to point out that's exactly right, but on a more sciencey level, we
yeah,
literally have evolved with in parallel to
yeah,
the plants, especially,
right,
well, the wilds, not necessarily domesticated, but certainly those two.
yeah,
Alongside, we've evolved with them. Our bodies, we have receptors in our bodies that take in what the plants give us. Think about that for a second. Wrap that
right.
around
Yeah.
your head. We
That's exactly
literally,
what I was trying to say. Yeah.
exactly, yes.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing. Soon we have our cherry season, like in a couple of months, but cherries are grown in that year for a certain, at that time of the year for a certain reason. And our body soaks in that vitamin C from the cherries and boosts our immune system for the coming winter.
Yep.
And our body knows what to do with it. You
Exactly.
know?
And one more thing, that when we speak about herbs, the people only think that we speak about like all these weird herbs that we've never heard. No, garlic is an herb. Onion is an herb. And when we speak, cherries is an herb, is a medicine.
Right.
Pomegranate is a medicine. And I always tend to think that people think like we have to kind of be fancy and use this weird names, but in reality we should live a normal simple life.
Right.
Pomegranates are for reason, they will help you to remove the parasites out, and they are wonderful by cleansing, regenerating your liver, wonderful in iron. So you might say, how is that possible? That's pomegranate. Oh, but that's pomegranate. It's not pomegranate. I always tell in my classes, when you look at the apple, it's not just an apple. This is a full house of nutrients and minerals. This is an herb that will feed you, and apple a day can keep doctor away for a reason. But people tend to, that's just an apple. And I always say, just if you want to come to natural healing, first learn to use what you have in front of your hands, in front of your eyes. So what you have in front of your eyes, you have a garlic, you should know all kind of medication you can prepare with the garlic. Same thing
Right.
comes with so that's what I tend more to think, like live a simple life. Pomegranate alone can give you so much more than all these fancy medications that or superfoods that people sell to you.
Right.
You know, then you look up at the carrots and like, this is just this is not just a carrot that will
Right.
straighten up your teeth, that will let your hair grow, your nails. So who the heck needs the extra isolated form vitamin A or some fancy doctor who put a label on his product and sells you this for $100 and
That's
you
right.
like ship to the slaughter? Oh, I'm buying this from this doctor. Stop
Right.
doing this
Well, it's
nonsense.
people following
Enjoy
the
the real
fads, and our
stuff.
new fad, right? It's people following fads and fashions and what's become, new. And there's so many different sources of now social media where people will just follow what they see without even knowing what they're doing, without even knowing what it does. And so our message to you, we hope you want to follow, is first and foremost, clean out all the poop that you got in you. And secondly, eat well, but eat real food and start slow and adjust and let your body do its thing, because we naturally detoxify. That is what our body does. I would love to hear on a Reiki standpoint, because I'm always learning new Reiki stuff and I love it
I would
from
like to
you.
adjust one more thing
Yeah,
to what you said is about I will just mention this for people to understand. When we speak about fruits and we speak about herbs and we'll speak all about this nutrient stuff, and as Nicole mentioned, the quality is very important because the quality is what it holds the nutrients in, and that's why support your local farmers. That you want to be healthy. This is where your pharmacy is, your local
absolutely.
farmers. So I'm sorry that
Absolutely.
I kind of disturb you, but
I
I
rather
really
not
want
have
people to
a
understand that.
fridge. If my fridge is full of vegetables from a farmer's market, be it, I don't even want to say the markets just in case so we don't get
Okay,
a little backlash, right?
sorry.
But let's say it says organic on it, it's still sprayed with garbage. Most of it comes from a country down south that we don't know what they're doing. And I've learned a lot about farming, and I actually know some farm owners that have organic farms, but then it's just a small portion, and the rest of the farm is not organic. But guess what? Everything seeps into the soil. It's all garbage. It's all BS.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you'll feel so much worse if all you're doing is buying. First of all, you'll feel worse for yourselves because you're spending all this money on what you think is organic, but it's not. And then you are also going to feel worse because you're actually eating a ton of pesticides and chemicals, and your body doesn't know what to do with it, and it shuts down. And
And one
that's
more
something.
thing is
Yeah.
not to be afraid to eat 4, 5, 10, 15 peaches a day, or carrots, or have a whole crate of carrots or whole crate of cucumbers, because I see people who comes, are you sure that I can have 2 carrots? Like people really bargaining about, are you sure it's not too much sugar if I have like more than 1 apple? So really the idea is like, if your body is craving, just eat. What's gonna happen? So you're gonna be a little bit orange, which is a good sign. There's nothing wrong by having, but
Too much
see,
carrot
that's the
juice,
whole
right?
idea,
But then it's
right?
also
But the,
important, like you said, you have to really chew your juices. That's something I learned
right,
in one of your
but
classes, and
not
I
just
teach my
juices.
kids
And
that.
my point is, when the people think that are we allowed to eat food, I usually tell them, do you ask yourself when you drink Coke, is this cola is good for me, or should I just have a little bit? Are you sure? But when it comes to the carrots, or comes to the apples, or comes to the zucchinis, people might say, are you sure? Maybe I'm a little bit. How much garlic I can have? Okay, you know what? Eat as much as you garlic. Let's see what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen? The
Right.
body will at least didn't harm yourself. So I'm
Right.
sorry. Go back to the Reiki. I just wanted
Yeah,
to
I
mention
was like,
that.
what did I ask Sarah? I can't remember, but thank
Reiki.
you,
I'm
Fala.
sorry.
Energetic
I'd love.
I
healing.
took the.
So I get excited every podcast we do, because I don't know much about Reiki. I've learned over the past 6 years a lot about natural healing and different types of methods of healing. And I'd like to talk about one more after this, but I really want to hear on a Reiki standpoint. What is the liver? What is this? Yeah.
Well,
or
first I want to comment,
overall?
if you eat 15 peaches, you're definitely going to get the shit out. So that's a really good
Yeah,
idea.
that's for sure. Just like if you're
So
eating a
that's a
ton
good
of
cleanse. You should market that. It
yeah,
Yeah.
makes sense. No, I
or
mean,
eating
you're
beets,
right. It's
beat
like,
it out.
why do we limit the good foods, but we're
The
okay
good food,
with
yeah.
having like 20 Cokes in a day and a
It's
pack of
crazy.
cigarettes and yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So on an
Reiki.
energetic on to Reiki. On an energetic uh mindset in regards to detoxification, I suppose like I would look at it this way. When I do Reiki, I can sometimes tell if someone's toxic. Okay, there's a lot of different levels to that.
Right,
Toxic environment physically, toxic environment mentally,
right,
that can kind of really make someone toxic on obviously two different levels. But all right, so I guess when you look at it this way, we always talk about the liver, and the liver holds anger, and so that's a major organ of elimination. And if someone's got a lot of anger, their liver's probably not working as well as it could. So there's
right,
that. So the things that, I'd certainly be nourishing with things like burdock root, dandelion root, milk thistle, of course, and other herbs that are supportive to the liver. But we're also talking about why that person's so angry, what's going on and what's facilitating that anger, and it can run the gamut, for a lot of
right,
different people. And then we're going to look at the kidneys. The kidneys are all about fear. So this is where your adrenal glands are. This is your fight or flight. Kidneys hold fear. So, and if your kidneys aren't working properly, you're probably not excreting the water soluble toxins. So what are we going to do about releasing the fear? So
mm,
that's a whole different ball game. Fear and anger are very much tied together.
right,
Um, and then if we talk about digestion, energetically, digestion symbolizes how we process life. And so sometimes people are all stopped up. I think we talked about this last time, right? That child who's trying to control their environment, they're
hmm,
constipated as all get out because people keep trying to tell them to do something that they don't want to do.
right,
So let's address that. Let's empower them. Let's give them, if it's an adult, it's like, what are they holding on to? It could be a lot of different things. We're certainly going to help with herbs to get things moving. But if they're not letting go of that stuff energetically, they're probably going to be back into the same predicament. On the
right,
other spectrum of that, if you're too loosey goosey, what are you not addressing? What are you running away from? What's
right.
happening there? Where's the trauma around all that? So that's probably how I would look at it, more than just say detoxing as one thing, because
No, yeah.
it's not one thing, right?
No, it's not.
Right.
And
And
in
then lungs,
healing, we
but
talk
also
about
lungs, right? But I
mind,
want
body, environment. So
right.
it's all in the same, and energy and
Right.
all of that.
It's all
So
connected. And then
it's all connected.
lungs and skin, lungs, skins, and lymphatic, these are all the other areas that we detoxify. Lungs is grief. So we're supporting with mullein and other lung herbs, but you know, grief is crying, tears, is like there's an emotional instability there. And then of
Yeah.
course skin is like, energetically, I suppose it could just be like your protection and how you approach life and how protective you are, or whatever. So just a,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
wanted to quickly talk about skin before I jump, or I mean, maybe it's the one and the same with what I want to get to, but skin is our largest organ in our body, and most people don't realize that it is an organ, and it definitely is one of the biggest ways in which we see our body detoxifying. So when we see certain signs and certain blemishes on the skin, it's because whatever's inside our body is being pushed out through the skin. And if we're putting products on it and we're not treating it well, then it'll just block off all those pores. And instead of things coming out, they're just going to seep right in and more will go inside because of what we're putting on our skin. I know Kava, I know, and I've noticed. I would love people to go on your Instagram if they're not following you already, because you do have something called Organ Appreciation Week, which I've seen on your Instagram, and
Yeah.
you guys can visit her Instagram. It's Hava, Hava Wellness. That's the handle, and you'll see the Organ Appreciation Weeks, and the first two you've done are actually liver and skin, and nourishing and giving love to those two very vital organs. And so how would you help the process of detoxification through the skin? What would you tell people to do in order to open up all those pathways and help everything come out?
Right. So I usually say that first of all, it is a very important project that I do, and hopefully Sara will join and many others, because I do feel it's very powerful thing, because people are not realizing that we need to give a love and care for our organs. I really want to go this worldwide, not just like us here in the small communities, but really everyone should do it, because through the year you will learn to appreciate your liver, your kidney, your eyes, your hair. And this is absolutely incredible, because we also give organ affirmation where we say thank you for this and this organ, and this organ feels very special for that week.
Right.
So that's about that. So join us on our organ appreciation week. And about the skin, I want to people remember that you eat, drink, and poop from your skin as well. And most people, they don't understand. And each time what they think is just hopping a medicine will do the thing. It's not going to do, because your skin, it also holds a lot of garbage into it. And that's
Right.
why important things like a sauna, like going do hot and cold showers, what do, you create stimulation, you open up the clogged areas. The very important thing is that the body needs to sweat to remove garbage, and what we most
Right.
time do, we cover it, we put deodorants, we rub, we wear clothes that are so tight on us, and maybe even contain polyester and other plastics that actually more harming and actually creating more toxicity, because your body as a self-healing machine pulls the garbage out of your system, and you don't understand, and you just actually no, I want to be fancy, so you're going to go buy these fancy clothes which are absolutely disgusting, and what they're going to do is they might look nice, but in reality they just harming you, they're just causing
Right.
you more blockage. Most men's and females, they suffer in the summer when they're not wearing a good organic cotton. Why? It's because the body is breathing, is removing the garbage out of your system. And if you wear clothes that are not organic, not sustainable, good materials, not good fibers, what you do, you basically bring back the same garbage. And that's the whole idea, is to
You're
listening.
suffocating that organ. You're not letting it
Exactly, and
breathe,
that's
and
why
you're
so
not
many
letting it
men
do.
are itching between their balls, and there's
Yeah.
so many. I mean, I'm sorry, men's, but we know that people who suffering because of the fungi between their toes and other areas which are dark. Many
Right.
men and females suffering here in the
Yep,
summertime. Why? It's just because the lymphatic system is
that's
here. The
correct.
garbage comes out from here, or
Right.
garbage comes from all these areas. And what you do,
And we suppress
deodorant,
it.
you
Yeah.
cover it. So when
Yeah,
you
Right.
apply deodorant, which contains garbage, the body tells you, I want this stuff out. And what you do, no, stay in there. And that's
Right.
why then we're suffering, right?
Yeah,
So,
our body
so,
gives us signs. I mean, if
so
we're
that's why I
sweaty and
suggest
smelly, then there's a reason. Our
exactly.
body is
So
really detoxing something that it
right. So
stinks
I
inside and
suggest do
out.
exactly. So I suggest scrubbing, more scrub when you're in the shower. Really scrub yourself. Most people I've seen, men at age 50, 60, they come up to me. They have problems. I said, "Do you know how to even take a shower?" They, sure. I just take a soap and I do like this. You don't do nothing when you do like this, and also by using your hand, not even those cheap sponges that you can buy on Amazon. No, so the idea is that you scrub it, you remove the garbage, you remove what is in here. That's why so many people have the discoloration. What is it? It's a fungi, it's a parasite. They're sitting in there. Scrub those stuff out of your
Right.
body. Learn to really clean yourself. So that's one thing that I really love. And another thing that I really want to mention, hopefully I'm not taking time, but is to doing a proper liver detoxes, and not just liver, but you can put this on every organ, right? And this is what we've done on our liver appreciation week, where we did almost every other week, every other day,
Every other
we did
day.
a hot bottle castor oil treatment. And most people don't understand this is a new trend that's coming now. Everybody's doing the castor oil, but you don't understand, whoever will listen to us, if you do not use hot bottle, that's absolutely useless, because castor needs a heat to go and absorb and go straight
Penetrate, yeah.
into the penetrate through the skin into the area. Otherwise you're just rubbing a castor oil, you don't do shit. And what people don't understand, I really want people, and this our ancestors said about that. If you're doing a detox, you put the castor oil, but you don't have a heat, go warm up some stones and put them over the area. Why? Because the heat will go and penetrate deep. Otherwise, you're just rubbing on top. And
There's
that's
also the lack of information of what to do after a castor oil pack, right? There's
right.
What do you have to do?
Right.
I
So
know the answer. I just want to hear from you.
right. So the point is that people need to understand, if you do the castor, you must use heat. If you not use, and not just heat, you can also combine heat and then cold towel. Heat and cold towel, you will create circulation, you will help to detoxify in the correct way. And the next thing I want to people understand, when you do some sort of a detoxes like that, you have to clean your body, so that way you create a good pH. Otherwise, you're very acidic, right? So like you go into sauna, you sweat, the garbage comes out. My husband said that when they go, they really taste the flavor of this disgusting thing that comes from through the skin. The same thing happens in us. So we pull the garbage out of the system, we pull the garbage from the liver. But if we are not then restoring the pH, meaning cleaning out the skin, the acidic environment, then I usually say it will go back, because
So how do you do
they
that?
don't want to be on the surface, they want to live inside. So I always say you have to kind of cleanse your body. So there's a couple options. You either do a baking soda wash, which is a baking soda and water, combine them together, shake it, and then you clean the area, or you take apple cider vinegar with water and wash your entire body, if that's what you do. But that's very important that people don't understand. So yeah.
So we are running out of time. You did mention sweating, which is obviously a huge way of detoxing, and we've spoken quite a few times about saunas, and how they aid circulation, how they do a lot more than that, and one of them is detoxification. So if you have the opportunity to go into a sauna, and or even, you know, when you're hot, wear some clothing that your body can breathe so that you can actually sweat and detox. We want you to do that. We encourage it. You may not like the way you smell, but there's always a shower to come after. So we encourage you to shower as well. But if your body is smelly, there's a reason why, and that's because there's a lot of garbage and gunk inside, and you have to listen to your body and help it out. Stop eating that garbage so you won't smell like it. I just want to mention next episode, we are going to talk about the immune system, immune support, and ways to stay healthy. That is our topic of discussion. And so,
my favorite.
yeah, everybody loves to know how to stay healthy or how to be healthy, and we are your guide to get there. And we are specifically going to talk about the immune system next time. And we want you to understand, again, we do this in an order for a reason. So we talked about circulation, gut health, detoxification. Now, how do we boost that immune system so we can get our body in tip-top shape? We hope to see you next time. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you got a lot of knowledge. And I thank you, beautiful ladies, for your time. And we will see you on our next episode.
Thank you, everybody. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
See you
Such a pleasure.
Amazing.